very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, tonight on the show, we will talk about what everybody has been talking about, Favour Ofili and the saga surrounding the alleged nationality switch. We will talk about that on the show tonight. We will also take a look at the Super Falcons, of course, as they prepare for the Women's African Cup of Nations. Is a season of exhibition games, exhibition matches. Super Eagles captain William Troost Ekong had his own, and of course, another player had his as well. Wilfred Ndidi had his, and of course, there were reasons behind some of these things. We'll talk about that as we move on. The NBA Finals concluded. We have a new champion, Oklahoma City Thunder, the new champions. We'll talk about them as well on the show tonight. And of course, we will not forget the FIFA Club World Cup. It will get our attention as well. That's the outlook of the show. We urge you to sit back, relax, even as we take you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. This is a two-man show. You already know that. My colleague, Austin Okonakwan, is suited and ready as we go along on this ride.
Very greetings to you, Yemi, and of course our viewers joining us from different parts of the world. It's always an action-packed sort of sports. Yes, you talked about it. People will follow athletics all over the world, and Nigeria, they are talking about Favour Ofili. Allegations at the moment, but does Favour Ofili have a right to switch allegiance to Turkey that is in the conversation? Oh, yes, because Nigeria has failed that time and time again. But I don't want to follow everybody to talk about what's making the rounds. I've sent messages to Favour Ofili. Hopefully, the champ will put herself together, come out, and she's the only one, Yemi, that can set the record straight. So we're waiting to hear from Favour Ofili and then know the direction of this story. And you also mentioned it's off-season, so Super Eagles players are getting busy with exhibition matches, charity games here and there. It's heartwarming seeing them on social media, some of them going back to their roots, others going back to communities that made them, they're now superstars. And it's really good, to give back to the society. The FIFA Club World Cup definitely gets our attention. What's the fate of African?
Okay, all right. So we'll pick it from there. Let me just quickly introduce our guest in the Lagos studio. Kehinde Idris joins us now. Kehinde Idris, greetings to you. Thanks for being with us this lovely Tuesday evening. There's a lot to pick from, I guess.
Yeah, there is a lot to pick from. The menu, is very rich. Good to be here, firstly, and good evening to our esteemed viewer. Troost Ekong, Wilfred Ndidi, fantastic, giving back to the society. Also, galvanizing, football fans to, be more into the teams and all of that. Also, the Club World Cup, I think it has gotten into its own and we're enjoying every bit of it. But there is no news on the menu today that beats the story of Favour Ofili. Like it is said in the advert of the English Premier League, action, reaction. I knew there was an action in the past, there should be a reaction. And I guess that's the reaction we're getting.
Okay, all right. A lot to talk about, but let's just, since you already talked about it, and I'm very sure Austin has other angles to it as well, we'll try not to be emotional. And of course, following the lines that Austin was taking earlier, we'll also try not to emotionally blackmail the athlete. She has a right to make any decision, but at this point, it is still alleged.
Yeah.
Can she do it? Yes, she can.
Of course.
As the process of the nationality switch being initiated, nobody can clearly answer that. But there are steps you would have to take. That has to be taken. And we'll talk about all of that for the sake of our viewers. So, like I said, let's try not to be emotional as we unpack all of this. I like the way you set the tone. This is not just a boat from the blue.
Yep.
Something led to this.
Yeah.
And some might say, I'm trying not to be emotional. Some might say some of those issues were not properly addressed.
Yeah, they weren't addressed, not properly addressed. I did not see any addressing. In there, you can remember the Olympics in 2021. That was it was supposed to be 2020, happened in 2021, where out of tournament registration and all of that, Favour was affected. She very bitter, a young lady at the time. She was having a breakout, period season. She wanted to, go ahead and top it with the Olympics. That didn't happen. Fast forward to 4 years later, where okay, fine. Now I've gotten into my own. I'm an household name. I've put in the work, and then another thing happening from the administrators, the management again, and the lady just did one thing. Try to speak out. And then we saw all of the reactions. That's why I said there was no addressing. What we saw was some people trying to put a person down. And that is everything that has been done. Now, before I go on with Favour Ofili's, issue, Daniel Igali switched, from Nigeria to Canada and all of that, represented for years and all of that. If you put a mic in front of Daniel Igali, put a camera to it, and ask him, has anything changed from what made you switch at then? Because with what Daniel is showing now, I'm sure he really loves to represent, for Nigeria while he was an athlete. But he saw everything. And then has anything changed? No. Ask Marion Yali. Has anything changed? No. Ask Obikwelu. Has anything changed? Okay. These are questions that had been there for years now. Administrator after administrator, management after management, different names after different name, AFN, whichever, IOC, NOC, everybody put together was still getting the same result. And, Yemi, before I land, is it a crime that you make a mistake? Because I want to take it as you make a mistake, or you usually make mistake. Is it a crime for you to own up to your own mistake and go further to making amends?
All right.
That's always not the issue.
It's a question that needs to be answered. I mean, Austin is back with us. Like I said, we try not to be emotional about this issue as we try to unpack. I mean, there are statements attributed to the AFN, the leadership, saying, look, we've always tried to address this, but it looks like there's been some difficulty in getting to the athlete because, I mean, some reasons listed. So I want to get your perspective. Where do you see all of this? We shouldn't be losing athletes for whatever reasons because it's not good for us.
It's not, particularly top-class athletes, particularly athletes with prospects. This is Favour Ofili we're talking about. In 2019, I tipped her as one of the future of our athletics, and she did prove me right. I was waiting for her to have a breakout moment at the Tokyo conduct mandatory tests for, and then that became a problem in itself. She didn't compete at the Olympics. Now, this is a 4-year program we're talking about. She probably started preparing for the Olympics 3 years before that time. So 7 years of her career had just gone like that. And then came Paris 2024. She's now an established in Nigeria. And then you took her off 100 meters. You didn't discuss with the girl. You didn't register. You took her off. You didn't talk to her. You didn't talk to her team. You didn't talk to her parents. You didn't talk to people who had invested in her. And you just left her devastated, shattered her dreams, And she went on to still represent the country, did the 200 meters, made it to the final. But psychologically, she was down and out. She was just trying her best, just not to fail her sponsors, come out and compete. And I remember I tried to talk to her, and she said, "Oh, just go on with what I've put on social media. I can't really talk." We saw when she ran the finals, came out and was crying out there at the mixed zone. It was tough for her, And this is somebody who was thinking that, okay, if I come to the Tokyo Olympics, a lot of this Fast forward to May the 31st. We got that story that she has now switched allegiance. But all of this, as I said in my introduction, they're just allegations. For her to compete for Turkey, it takes 3 years for her to be eligible. 3 years. So I think if they are put in that as at May 31st, the target is definitely for her to be ready before Los Angeles 2028. You know, I know Turkey, they've been shopping around, they've been looking.
Yeah.
Compete for Jam.
All right. It is a situation that is not very pleasant for Nigeria. But what does it take for an athlete to successfully switch allegiance from one country to another? What makes the process complete? That's what we're going to try to show you tonight on the show. I'm going to go across just to let you know. A lot of things have been said, but here are the rules, the key regulations from World Athletics. So this is what it takes for an athlete to be able to successfully transit from representing one country and moving on to representing another. We have all agreed that anyone can change. So that possibility is always open. Rule 5.2a, transfer of allegiance must be made by the member to which the athlete wishes to transfer. So, as in this case, rumored to be Turkey. So, has Turkey done that as we speak? Well, the answer is no. Rule 5.2b, 2, an athlete who has represented one member in an international competition shall not represent another unless at least 3 years have passed since they last represented the former member, unless the waiting period is reduced or waived. So you have this as well as a precondition. There has to be that 3-year gap. Another thing is that Rule 5.4 outlines special provision for waivers requiring exceptional justification, athlete age, and development history. These are some of the conditions. Precedence exists both for waivers and for firm deniers. Athletes like Bernard Lagat from Kenya to United States, Kalkidan Gezelgen, Ethiopia to Bahrain, and Francis Obikwelu, Nigeria to Portugal, walked similar paths with varying timeline and approval orders. We can all conclude from all that you've seen, it's a lengthy process. It's a lengthy process, and it does look at this point that even if some things had been done behind the scenes, nothing has been formally initiated. And even if the athlete will go on to represent Turkey, it still, unless she gets a waiver, it still means there's going to be a 3 years or close. Thereabout. But all of those things are not the issues. The issue here is, as a patriotic Nigerian, you would not want us to lose our brightest prospects to other countries.
Yemi, yes, we don't want to lose our brightest, athletes, promising athletes and all of that. But what can we give them? This is a huge question. Shadi Olatoye, what can we give them? Chukwuemeka Enekwechi, what can we give them? These guys have lived all their life in countries they could call their own. They were bettered there, they grew there, they were schooled there, bred there, but they chose to do it for their fatherland, for their motherland. What are they giving them? We saw that video of Enekwechi, doing his own dishes. He posted it, and it was clamped down upon by the administrator, saying, why would you post that? These are questions that need to be asked.
Yeah.
And I say, what do we have to give them? Favour Ofili, every sports person, just like Favour Ofili, have maybe marks of 17, in some exceptional cases, 20 years. Now, 2 Olympics had gone. Let's say in between, you have about 5 years gone. That is in your 17 years.
All right. You know what? Let's just wrap all of this up by listening to, of course, the chairman of the Nigeria Sports Commission, Shodiko. I mean, let's have his take on the whole matter. And guess we'll just let the matter rest for a while. But of course, the matter is not going anywhere.
Well, I haven't got any official confirmation on that, like a letter or something from the AFN or from the player or from the athletes. So, but we are working as a commission to change this trajectory. That's why we are doing the reorganization of sports. That's why we are going through the foundation to make sure we put the right structure for Nigerian sports, to ensure that this thing does not happen, to ensure that we put our sports on a level where we can also be attracting others. And part of those, sports is about money. And that's why we are working to put the sports development fund together. If you do that, we can be able to take care of our athletes, to make them look good, to look after them, to make them happy that they can always be proud to represent Nigeria. And earlier in the year, we set up what we call the Elite Athlete Development and Podium Committee. The whole idea is about looking after our best athletes and make sure we are doing the right thing with them. We're looking after them, we're making them happy, we're supporting them so that they can be happy and proud to join Nigeria. So it's sad. If it is true, it's very, very sad. It's disappointing, but at least we should learn from it and make sure that we never allow it to happen again by doing the right thing across board. From the federations, which really are the ones that are in charge, they should be able to up their game and do what they have to do. But at the end of the day, it's about resources. If we are able to get away and set up the sport development fund and put the resources needed, we can be able to do whatever we have to do by providing the infrastructure, providing the right training, the right coaching, and the right support for all our athletes across all sports, so they can be happy to stay here in Nigeria. Definitely, she's one of us, whether she has moved or not. Even if she's representing Turkey, they will say she's a Nigerian, representing Turkey. Nigeria, she can never take Nigeria off our blood. So definitely, we have to go after her, we have to look after her, we have to reach out to her and see what we can do. But no matter what happens, Hess Hotel, she's always a Nigerian. They will say she's representing Turkey, former she was representing Nigeria. So Nigeria is in her blood, and she's my bank, and you can't take that away from that. So we have to reach out with her, see what the problem is, and see what we can do. Not just her, all our athletes that are at that level, we should be able to be working with them. But fundamentally, it's about the federation. They are the ones that are supposed to take those steps as quickly as possible to do their job and make sure they deliver.
Wow. There's a lot to say. But again, there's a need not to get emotional. Of course, the chairman of the National Sports Commission, of course, you could cut him some slack. He wasn't there when some of those things happened. And he's saying all the right things, as you would expect. But talking is different from acting. But Austin, some conversation going on here, some that our viewers might not be able to hear us say on live TV. But if indeed the process has been initiated, is there any way back?
There might be, and this is top-class public PR that should be in place. I'm the guy who's always reminding our sports administrators to know the functions of PR. That is very good at avoiding problems and not solving them. Yes, Shehu Diko wasn't, in the saddle when all of these, am I allowed to say nonsense happened? And now, if you check, almost all the officials in the Athletics Federation of Nigeria that is making us have this conversation about Favour Ofili, all of them are still involved with athletics administration in Nigeria. So until we start understanding action and consequence, we will remain where we are as a people, I said it, like Favour Ofili was one that I actually tipped to go all the way and get the world talking about us. I think she was 17, going 18, when she was to compete at that Tokyo Olympics, and that disappointment happened. And then she got to Paris and was actually one of the athletes to look forward to.
Austin, let me butt in because we need to quickly have ground to cover on the show. So we just leave the athletics for now and move on. In passing, let's just quickly talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They played friendly. It was a goalless draw with Portugal. It was a gritty performance, not the kind of inspiring performance we're used to seeing the Super Falcons give us. But most importantly, they held on. And of course, we're able to get a draw. Next up for the Super Falcons, it's a game against Ghana as they prepare for the WAFCON, as we call it now, the Women's African Cup of Nations. All right, let's move on. Talk about exhibition matches is where we're going next. Austin talked about it. I referenced it. So let's talk. Let's start with the one at the Maracana Stadium. Wilfred Ndidi brought a lot of people together. It's all about giving back to the society. And of course, Ajegunle was a place where a lot of things happened. The stars aligned, the people gathered, and of course, I like when I see that Kanye Idris, when football stars or sports stars give back to the society. There were some reactions, but first, your thoughts before we quickly take the reactions. Of course, this exhibition game, the stars, Nollywood stars, mixing with real football stars. It was all fun and excitement, actually.
It tells you that Nigerians love their stars. The way people turned out, the people you're seeing in the stadium, there are way more people outside there just wanting to have a feel of every stars that they've got, whether in sports or entertainment as it stands. And then people like Wilfred Ndidi, with the initiative, now assembled everybody, comedians, musicians, athletes, actors, everybody coming together, footballers. It was fantastic. Then also, the fact that you're giving back while you're still very much active. Not a case of I'm trying to keep up with my relevance after you're much forgotten.
And we're starting first.
He's still very much
We're starting
relevant.
first with the William Troost Ekong, as you can see, the guys in white and the guys in green. Let's quickly take some reaction. I'm seeing a lot of comments on social media. Some talking about some of the guys in green playing football as if they're professionals. One or two of them. Showing their talent. So let's just quickly take some reaction. Ahmed Musa in your picture right there, the Super Eagles captain. Let's take some reactions, and of course, we come back for some more on Sports Tonight.
I feel really grateful, humbled that everybody came out today, from the fans to the sponsors that supported us, to all the teammates, the ex-internationals, current internationals, celebrities, actors, singers. Everybody came together for a good cause. And it's something really special because I think everybody understands the vision of the foundation and the power of collaboration is shown to amplify what we're doing and eventually help as many underprivileged people as we can. Lagos loves football, and so we had to bring it here. The first edition was in Uyo. Charity starts at home, and we're going to see what we're going to do next year, but this was definitely a success.
It was a good one. It was a good one. Thanks to everyone who come out here, because without these guys, we won't be here. Thanks for the support, and it's a fun game. You can see a lot of goals, a lot of fans, they're happy. People are passing through a lot in the country, and I feel like for those who come here to support and cheer the team, I really wish them well, and I say a very big thank you.
It's great to do this for charity, and very well done to Troost Ekong, our team captain, and to everybody who's decided to support this. Very well done.
All right. Of course, William Troost Ekong, the initiator, Stanley Wabali, Ebuka Bichukwendu there as well. Those guys talking. Also, you have your thoughts on this one, but it's good when the stars align, when we bring people together for a good cause.
Highlighting the power of sports to, transform lives, communities, and, a big tool for social cohesion. William Troost Ekong Foundation, and all of the good works they're doing, particularly supporting grassroots football. It didn't just stop with Lagos, took it to Akwa Ibom State, in Uyo to support under 15 grassroots. It's really good, particularly now that he's still active and, he can pull the sort of crowd that is pulling, get sponsors to come together. I like that this was a blend of ex-internationals, current players, entertainers, media personalities, all coming together for the love of the game. And, it's just a clear testament that football can be used beyond just, kicking it on the field. It can use to promote a lot of causes, and we see it all over the world. From William Troost Ekong to Wilfred Ndidi, all of them are using football to support the different communities, and that's Victor Boniface with his trademark dummy right there. With the penalties. So the fans came, they had fun. It's a good one. So let's move from William Troost Ekong to Wilfred Ndidi. And the charity game he had in Lagos also in Ajegule. Ajegule is known to be a place that, produces talent for us. And Wilfred Ndidi, again supported by William Troost Ekong and some other players in the Super Eagles and ex-internationals, is a product of Nats FC. Yeah. That was where I knew Wilfred Ndidi even before he started playing for Nigeria. And he went back there to say, look, this is the way to, build the future. That's Victor Osimhen also in the picture there. I see Tolu Arokodare. Just imagine them being with these young upcoming footballers, playing with them. They are already giving them a peep into their future to believe that they can also become superstars. Let's take some talking points from this charity game organized by Wilfred Ndidi and the Nathaniel Idowu Foundation. Was a good one for grassroots football development. Listen.
I feel, for me as a child, when you see the guys on TV, like the guys you watch on TV, like the stars, so I feel like when you see them in real life, it's different feeling from seeing them on TV. So we had a plan to try to invite some of our colleagues to come see the project and also come see the kids, which they did, and you could see the excitement on the faces of the kids, and which is really, really good. Our main focus is just the kids, like they are the future, and also in our field, football. In football, I think we tend not to focus on the kids. We tend to focus on the end products, So I feel like we shouldn't miss out on them. It's just something for them to look forward to. When they go to school, they have something to talk about. For the future, it's just giving them hope, like if they see someone like Osimhen, I can actually be like someone like Osimhen, because I saw him live, he's a great guy, just kind of like something to talk about and something for them to look forward to. Yeah.
This is actually my first time here. Ajegule has been one of the places that produced one of the best talents in world football, and also, of course, in the Super Eagles. And when Wilfred told me about the initiative, and I said to myself, of course, why not? I will be available, and of course, I'm going to come. I'm sorry I was a bit late, and a big special thanks to Mr. Idowu for what he's done, and of course to the KBC here for what they've done. I think Ajegule is one of the players that produce amazing talent in terms of football, music, and all sorts. So for me to be part of this initiative is really a great honor, and I'm happy to be here.
My first time here in Ajegule, and to see the work that's been done here already, with the help also from the private funding that has been done, is amazing. I brought my two youngest children with me because I also want them to see this side of Lagos. And it's been really special to see also what Karim Adeyemi has done here and what Wilfred Ndidi has done. I think it's a big encouragement for us to come here and to continue the work and the amazing work the chairman has done here.
Amazing shout out to Mr. Yamido and his foundation for collaborating with Wilfred Ndidi and bringing all the superstars to come out there and light up Ajegule. Kende, this is a good one. Grassroots football initiative in action, and I think that with this we'll get more persons to come into that part of football development and do more.
Of course. Do you know how many people will be watching from outside of the world because a certain William Troost Ekong is involved, a certain Wilfred Ndidi is involved? These are global stars. See, whether I like it or not, when you mention Wilfred or William Troost Ekong, the entire world knows them now. You put their name into search engines, they bring you, a lot of stars. So everybody have got their eyes on this part of Nigeria as of when it's going on. And then it makes some people further inquisitive. What are they doing? Why did they take it back there? And like I said earlier while I was discussing with Yemi, it's a case of they are still very much active, and they are doing this. It's not me trying to get relevance. It's me trying to bring back with all of the, stars that I have around me. Everybody will turn up at this time. JJ Okocha is a big name, but imagine JJ Okocha doing this as of when he's playing compared to when he has not. So it's a huge one what they've done, and I'm sure years from now, whether they continue or not, people will still be talking about this edition of their give back. I was at back to base. That is Mikel Obi's, way of giving back. That's the same way a lot of persons turn up. But I saw the difference in, William Troost-Ekong still active, Wilfred Ndidi still active. Trust me, it's way different when you're still very much active and when you're not. You have more of the current people, turning up. And then the entire world who are still watching you will turn up to see, okay, what are you doing?
All right.
You are a global star and you're giving back to that mini society that you were made from.
All right, so let's talk about world sport now. Let's talk about the Olympics to be precise. The International Olympic Committee has been a change of baton. Thomas Bach has ended his two-term tenure as the president of the IOC, and he has handed over to his successor, the lady he campaigned for, not openly though, but the lady he campaigned for, Kirsty Coventry, the Zimbabwean. Of course, we're proud to say she's an African. And of course, the handing over ceremony officially, key was handed over to Coventry. There was some celebration, and of course, it is hoped that she will continue in the legacy of our predecessor, as they both agreed, is still within the same family. Let's take some reaction from this event that took place yesterday in Lausanne, the Olympic IOC headquarters in Lausanne, Switzerland. We'll come back for more on the show.
You have placed your trust in someone whose life story is deeply rooted in the Olympic movement. As an Olympian, she knows what it means to live the Olympic values. She knows how to lead with courage. She is driven by a desire to give back to our Olympic movement that has shaped her life. Now she makes history, Mrs. Kirsty Coventry.
As the Olympic movement, as federations, as NOCs, as our sponsors and our partners, we are the guardians of this incredible platform. And it's not just about a multi-sport event. It's a platform to inspire. It's a platform to change lives. And it's a platform to bring hope. These are not things taken lightly. And I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you to make sure that we continue to inspire, continue to change lives, and in our divided world today, continue to be a beacon of hope. I am really honored that I get to walk this journey with you, and I cannot wait for anything that lies ahead, because I know I have the best team to support me and our movement in these next 8 years. Thank you so much for being here with all of us today, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for the next 8 years as we take on this journey. Thank you.
All right, I like those words. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. For the next 8 years, she's going nowhere. You're going to have to get used. And for us journalists too, Thomas Bach takes the back seat. Now it's Kirsty Coventry. She's going to be around for the next 8 years. At least for now, who knows what's going to happen after 8 years. All right, let's leave the Olympics now, the Olympic Committee now, and go to Austin, who is furiously at this point refreshing his tablets and his systems to get us up to speed with what is happening at the FIFA Club World Cup, because that's our next port of call. Before we came into the studio, of course, Boca Juniors and the team from Auckland City playing. I was surprised to see Edison Cavani still very active, running around and doing things for Boca Juniors at 38 years. All right, so Austin, what do you have for us before I go to the screen to talk about some of the things that have already happened? But what do you have for us as regards to games going on now?
Yeah, Cavani, as you mentioned, just proving to us that class is permanent. That game between Auckland City and Boca Juniors ended 1-1. Good one for Auckland City because people were already counting them to be, the points donor at this Club World Cup, and it's good to see that they've gotten their first point. This game that I'm monitoring, Yemi, Benfica taking on Bayern Munich, easy peasy. That's a Champions League fixture. In the 13th minute, Benfica took the lead. You'd expect Bayern Munich to bounce back, do something, but it's been actually Benfica proving that they want to go on to win it. It's now in its 75th minute, and it's still Benfica 1, Bayern Munich 0.
All right, Benfica 1, Bayern Munich 0. So we see what happens. I'll go across and talk about this. Ken Idris, I don't know where you are. 8-goal thriller.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that an African team was involved, and nobody is surprised that the African team is Al Ahly. We've always known what they are capable of. I mean, this was a team, even when there was the Arab Spring, there was crisis, they didn't play so much of football, they still went on to win the CAF Champions League. Just to tell you how strong this team is. 8-goal thriller didn't count for nothing at the end of the day, but they gave us football fans something to talk about. FC Porto Al Ahly 4-4. It ended. Inter Miami and Palmeiras 2-2. It ended in Group A. Let's go to Group B. For Atletico Madrid, a win also didn't count for anything. Atletico Madrid beating Botafogo, the Brazilian side, 1-0. Seattle Sounders lost to Paris Saint-Germain. The French money bags, I don't know if we can still call them money bags because they've sold out all their stars. And so this is what it looks like. The standings in Group A and Group B. Of course, the top two qualifying. Palmeiras and Inter Miami. Somebody said he thought this was going to be the first time Lionel Messi will go into a tournament and crash out in the first round. But no, Lionel Messi is not going anywhere yet. So Inter Miami and Palmeiras qualifying from Group A. In Group B, as expected, Paris Saint-Germain and Botafogo, of course, go through. You feel sad for Atletico Madrid, 6 points, but of course, the goals deficit didn't help their cause. These are the teams that have already booked their place, some of them with a game to spare. Bayern Munich, Flamengo, Juventus, Manchester City, Botafogo, Paris Saint-Germain, Palmeiras, Inter Miami. These teams have booked their place in the round of 16 in the revamped FIFA Club World Cup, 32-team edition of the FIFA Club World Cup. Kehinde Idris, a lot to talk about. I don't know where you want to take it from, but you feel sorry for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
6 points, but close yet so far.
Very far, very far. They have to wait till 2029 to do anything special in the Club World Cup. First game against PSG, you're losing 4-0. I'm sure they know that was a proper problem.
Yes,
and that was what exited them, from the FIFA Club World Cup. But from the second round of games, I think the competition got into its own. That was where we saw Chelsea lose. We saw Real Madrid draw. We saw PSG also did lose. And that was where I felt that whichever team wins the Club World Cup this time, can sit at their backyard, comfortably beat their chest and say,
we are
the world champions. Because this is a tournament that has given us now different fields. We've not even gotten to the knockout rounds where shockers do happen. Look at the South American teams. We just talked about Al Ahly. If Al Ahly had beaten Inter Miami in the first game, where they created more chances than so many teams have done yet in this tournament, maybe we'll be talking about Al Ahly in the next round right now. So it's a tournament that has shown us that maybe these continents are not really far apart when it comes to as we think.
That's true.
Because now Botafogo beating PSG, I think that was a super shocker. South American champion against European champion. The winner was South American champion. Right. So fantastic. Everything Gianni has said is happening.
Maybe some of us who've always believed that if these guys really get a proper crack, not just one game
off,
and it's over.
Exactly.
We always know that this will happen.
Exactly.
Austin, quick one, because we have to talk about the NBA, but quick one, if you can do that in a minute. With what we've seen, do you think all the noise and all the criticism leveled against Gianni Infantino, it should just wave it off and feel justified with what we've seen.
Of course, and he wasn't even sorry about it. He said it clearly that they're doing this for the money, that they need to, milk the commercialization that there is in football. And also, Gianni can see that Europe is doing just that with their football. So it's okay. We've got this FIFA Club World Cup. Let's expand it. And Yemi, who has complained?
Nobody.
Maybe some of the
Nobody.
Some of the ones not there. Because if you're getting this money, you're getting a piece of the pie. You're
Why
not going
can't
to
I
complain.
be there?
So the issue is your anger will be, why am I not there?
Exactly.
Not why is the competition
holding.
I agree with you, Austin. Nobody is complaining. Let's see if we can do this in a minute before we wrap up the NBA. Truly, it must be said, if anybody told me from the beginning of the season that Oklahoma City Thunder will be winning the NBA championships, the NBA finals, say for instance, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will be the MVP regular season, MVP of the playoff series, I wouldn't have accepted. But here we are. Teams like Cleveland Cavaliers, that a lot of people said was going to be their time. Boston Celtic, we also thought, well, maybe they will, but it didn't happen for those teams. For the Indiana Pacers, who lost in the final, I feel sorry for Tyrese Haliburton, the way the injury is likely going to be out for a long time because of what happened, that injury in the final. But that's what happens when you compete at the highest levels, all right? I thought we were going to be able to see pictures, but it happens that we may not be able to do that. Austin, we've crossed the finish line on the show. At least we're able to cover all the ground.
Yeah, shout out to the OKC Thunder first title. Means a lot. A clear testament that impossible is nothing, and they did it in style. First time also that the NBA.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonak, and in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports by for now.
All right, it's a wrap here in Lagos as well. But first, I must thank Kehinde Idris for his time on the show tonight. As usual, the conversation never ends. We take it out of the studio. Kehinde Idris, thank you for your time on the show tonight.
Yeah, good to be here. When Shai Gilgeous was traded, we thought it was just one of them. Now he is the main man. Congratulations.
Congratulations. He is the real deal. All right. That's a wrap. Thank you for allowing us into your homes without knocking. It is a privilege we will never take for granted. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye.